For those of us who dream of playing Stellar Blade on PC someday uncensored, don't worry, Nexon has you covered for now. Kinda. Hello, this is DJ and I'm here today to share my gameplay experience from the First Descendants final beta test with you. The First Descendant is a free-to-play, third-person PvE looter shooter developed and published by Nexon. This game is set to launch during summer 2024, and so the developers had conducted a final beta test during May 25th to May 27th of this year. I played during the beta and finished the campaign up to the point it was made available during the test. This is not a review by any means because I don't think it's appropriate to review a game based on its limited beta test, but I do have a lot to discuss with you. So make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below after watching this video. While you're at it, please do me the biggest favor, make sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Trust me when I say this, I would love to have you alongside on my YouTube journey. Enough of the pleasantries, let's get started. For the folks who are learning about this game for the first time, allow me to give you a brief description about the lore of the First Descendant. It all started 100 years ago from the present day when a hostile group called the Vulgus came into our dimension and started wreaking havoc on Earth. The Vulgus started using humans as sacrifice or experimental subjects. Soon after that, Titans called the Colossus appeared and destroyed almost everything on Earth. The remaining human survivors gathered at Albion, a safe place to make their final stand against the Vulgus. Then came the Magisters, a certain group of Vulgus who wanted to stop this endless destruction and protect humanity. Humans started working with the Magisters, and soon after joining with the Magisters, a certain group of chosen humans developed some special powers and became Descendants. Please don't ask me how did the Magisters and the humans bonded or joined to make Descendants. Honestly, I don't have a freaking clue. But they did for the sake of humanity, and that's what you need to know. So, present day, you are a Descendant fighting to save humanity or whatever that's left of it. The lore at the initial stages, although not bad by any means, did not do much to motivate me to get invested. The point where it started to get a bit interesting, I had reached the end of the campaign made accessible for the final beta. So in a sense, the game did leave me wanting for more in terms of the lore progression. There were not many cinematic cutscenes till the point I got to play during the beta, but the ones that were available looked really beautiful. I also really liked the character designs and the outfits pack details as well. Character animations, however, felt quite average to me. In those NPC interaction cutscenes, they just kept on performing the same range of motions, which didn't feel to be quite the standard for a game to be released in 2024. NPCs also lacked any sort of emotion on their faces, and there were quite a lot of lip sync issues where the audio didn't match the NPC speech animations, which completely threw me off and made it kinda hard for me to stay invested in those characters and listen to what they were saying. After a while, I just started skipping through those long conversations just to get to the gameplay and finish the campaign faster because I had lost any interest in those conversations. I thoroughly enjoyed the overall gameplay of the First Descendant. First of all, it's a shared world by all the players, similar to an MMO. So you are going to bump into other players a lot as you are traveling through the world, and in a way that felt nice to me because you won't feel alone in this vast map, and on top of that you get help from random folks while doing open world missions. In terms of your abilities, you have a total of 4 different skills at your disposal. 3 of these are similar to tactical abilities, with one being the ultimate. You can melee and use grapple hook on each and every Descendant. Your skills or abilities are aligned to your elemental energy that you generate when you shoot, kill or melee. You could also perform a running punch, which was quite effective and fun to use when I had to finish an enemy and I had just ran out of bullets. Although there were quite a few abilities to cycle through after playing during the beta, I don't think that's ever going to be an issue for players. In fact, it was quite fun and useful to have more than 2 abilities at my disposal on many occasions. Keep in mind that different abilities use different amount of energy and they also have different range of effectiveness. So although it's fine for you to just spam your abilities in the early stages in the game, try to learn them as well as you progress, cause when used in a smart way, your abilities can deal a lot of damage. During the final beta, the starting 2 areas were made available for the players. Each of those 2 areas had several mini-quests followed by a big final quest. Mini-quests were completely open world, that means you don't have to decide whether to matchmake or solo those missions. Other players passing by can jump into action and help you out. There were many occasions where I had started one mini-quest on my own and then other random players joined and helped me out. We then completed the remaining mini-quests and proceeded with the main quest together. For the main quests, you have to either go solo or matchmake with other players. You can also form a party of 4 and complete all those missions together. All the missions had their respective loot that was visible at the start of mission selection, and loots had different drop percentage depending on missions. The best part for me was that the quests didn't feel repetitive. There were a variety of enemy types introduced throughout the different missions as the game progressed during the beta. All the mission objectives were similar most of the times. The environment was set up in a distinct way in every mission. You also have world tiers that you can upgrade to for better loot, more inventory space, improved core and ability stats, etc. During my time in the beta, I had upgraded or ascended till world tier 4. Although I didn't find the quest to be much difficult, the Colossus battles were a different story altogether. Specifically, the second Colossus that we fought, the Stunning Beauty, was really difficult to fight against. Each and every Descendant has some elemental energy associated with them, such as fire, water, ice, lightning, etc. Those Colossus have certain resistance to different element types, and before fighting one of those, you also need to make your Descendant immune to certain elemental energy type if you want to take on a Colossus. From what I understood from the beta, Colossus battles will pop up separately on your world map as you progress on your overall level. Like the main quest, you can either wing it solo or matchmake with random people, but I would highly suggest any casual player to go in a group against those titans in the early stages, as you won't have adequate gears to take one on all by yourself. Colossus battles altogether were much intense and difficult when compared to other mission types. I had to work my butt off just to survive and take those 2 Colossuses down even when I fought alongside other players, but it was fun and I'm definitely going to remember those fights. During the test, there were a total of 11 Descendants available to choose from. I don't think this shall be the case when the game launches. When you usually start the game, you will have 3 characters to choose from as your first Descendant: Lepic, Ajax or Ajax, I don't know how you pronounce his name, and Viesa. I believe as you progress through the campaign, you will come across other Descendants and will eventually get to play as them. Like players were able to play as Bunny during the beta after crafting her suit. As I told you before, every Descendant has their own elemental skills like fire, water, poison, lightning, etc. When playing with other players, you can combine your elemental skills to deal even more damage. Skills are very useful but are not the main damage source for the Descendants. Guns are your main damage source and there's a lot of it in the game. Cosmetics are going to be a huge thing in the First Descendant. The people who played during the final beta test know exactly what I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, the devs knew exactly what they were cooking. The default character outfit designs as well as the outfits available in store for our beloved female Descendants are quite bold, and that's honestly fine with me. I'm much more focused on the personality of a character rather than their outfits. But regardless of what I feel, I can see that there are basically going to be 3 groups of players in this game. A group that's going to love and adore the cosmetic options available in the game, other group that's going to label such cosmetics as cringe and overly sexualized, and the other group where I'm usually from, which doesn't give a crap about it. But I'll admit that I did try those beautiful outfits available in store during the beta, but only for research purposes. By the way, let me know in comments which group do you think you belong to. I found the inventory system to be quite simple in this game. It consists of your weapons, reactor slot, and external component slots. Although you are going to shoot and loot at all the times, the items that are available to pick up as ground loot are weapons, modules, and external components. For weapons, you have the usual class types such as shotguns, ARs, SMGs, rifles, and snipers, etc. Weapon rarity varies from common to ultimate, which is present in almost every looter shooter. I found the weapon designs to be really cool and they matched the whole fantasy theme of the game. From what I saw during the test, ultimate weapons seem to complement specific Descendants depending on their elemental type. For an example, the ultimate weapon Thunder Cage that we received from progressing through the campaign really complements Bunny, a Descendant who uses lightning as their elemental skill. I'm assuming there are going to be at least a few ultimate weapons that will fit with any Descendant irrespective of their elemental types. Modules are the heart and soul of your Descendant. They act as attachments to your weapons as well as your Descendant Descendant. The Descendant module, reactor, and external components combined together act as modifiers to your Descendant's stats such as health, damage, shield, defense, etc. Modules also varies in rarity starting from common to ultimate. Rare and ultimate modules have extra bonuses attached to them provided your Descendant meets a certain criteria such as equipping a certain type of gun in your active loadout. I honestly didn't explore crafting as much. I just did the essential crafting of getting Bunny as Descendant and then later crafting the Thunder Cage SMG for her. Anais, one of the Magisters, is your go-to person for crafting. You can craft Descendants, weapons, rare materials required to craft Descendants and high-tier weapons, as well as enhancement materials. Frankly, I find crafting to be quite boring in games, so I rarely spend any extra time in crafting stations other than the absolute necessity. Let's get it out of the way. No, it's not pay to win. From my experience during the final beta test, it was simply pay for convenience. The shop was primarily filled with character skins, and honestly most of the folks are going to spend their money on skins rather than buying materials or boosters because you can grind those materials in the game. There's no PvP in this game, so I really don't care if someone is willing to spend their money in getting an item through the store that makes them feel better. First of all, it's a free-to-play game. Second, we have to understand that the developers have to make money off the game to keep the servers running and to keep on adding content to the game. So there's obviously going to be microtransactions. Nobody is forcing you to pay if you are not willing to. You can simply play the game, which is free of course. Now, if the developers decide to restrict a portion of the game behind a paywall, then it defeats the whole purpose of the game being free to play, and that's obviously going to be an issue with me. Other than that, I have no problem if the developers are putting exclusive weapons in the store, because if I am spending my money to buy an item, I'd prefer it to be an exclusive rather than being something that people can get just by playing the game. I'm all for it till the developers maintain a healthy monetization practice in the game. Talking about a few changes that I would like to see when the game goes live. Number 1, I definitely missed a mark all as seen button in the inventory during my playtime in the beta. It's a must in any looter shooter or RPG in my opinion. Having to see those exclamation marks in my inventory every time I picked a bunch of random items really kicked the OCD in me. I cannot tell you how much I need that option to have in a game. Number 2, GPU optimization is somewhat required in the game. Although it didn't run bad on my laptop with an RTX 2060 by any means, I was not able to hit 60 frames per second even with low settings. I understand that this is a game developed on Unreal Engine 5 and that older systems like mine are going to struggle while running such games, but I feel that with a little bit of optimization, it can definitely improve. More than anything, this game being a free-to-play title would absolutely benefit from being playable on a variety of systems. Number 3, character animations need to be improved. Specifically, NPCs lip sync with their speech and the animations. For an example, a very important character called the Guide, who is essential for the campaign and would be interacting with you on a regular basis, had a pretty bad lip sync compared to other NPCs in the game. This was quite off-putting for me. I also didn't like that NPCs just stood in one pose and kept on talking for minutes. It felt unreal and also quite aged. Also, the game missed on a very important feature in terms of animation. Jiggle physics. Come on devs, give us what we want. Jokes aside, Descendant, Instructor, Crafting and other NPCs who are non-essential to the campaign could benefit from better animation. Devs, if you are watching this, please show them some love. Number 4, I absolutely hated the idea of limiting inventory capacity in this game. The inventory capacity was so less that almost after every other mission, I was running out of space in my inventory and then I had to stop playing the game and delete redundant items from my inventory to make space for new items. The system is such an immersion breaker, but developers across this genre just keep on adding this stupid system in games like this. So if not removed, the inventory capacity should significantly be increased at the least. I went into playing the First Descendant's final beta test with zero expectations, and at the end of the beta, I was wanting for more to play and explore the game. It has a beautiful world to explore, and the gameplay seemed fun. The game doesn't force you to pick any specific playstyle, since your primary weapon is always going to be a gun. Unless the devs introduce melee weapons in the game in future, you're going to be fine with any Descendant. Just make sure to understand how your Descendant's abilities work and use them to your advantage. During my playtime, I started with Ajax, then moved to Bunny, and finally finally ended the playtest with VSR. After playing through the beta, I really wanted to explore other characters and learn more about their story, and I'll do so when the game releases on 2nd July 2024. Since it's a midweek release, I won't be able to play the game till the next weekend, but do let me know in the comments if you plan on being a Descendant on day 1. Also let me know what are your likes and dislikes from the final beta. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to drop a like and please consider subscribing. This is me DJ signing off for today. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.